Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, look, yeah, it's a great little catchy idea, but to me, look, we've only just had the shake-up. Now, if this happened, say, after SummerSlam, maybe I'd be a bit more for it, but we've just had the shake-up. We're supposed to just be, like, getting used to who's on who. I even think that's been ridiculous. Like, Elias, for instance, Matt, has been feuding with Roman. Both guys come from Raw. That's ridiculous. Those are the last two people you want up against each other. Same thing with The Miz and Shane. It's like, come on. So, yeah, it's not great when they're still doing, those kind of tactics. And also, I think it would have been nice if, and I don't know really, I can't remember everything you said, but it would have been cool if it was like the NXT wild card or something. Like one of those guys comes up and gets like a match with a main roster guy. That might have been a bit unique, but to see SmackDown and Raw going backwards and forwards, it's like, what are they going to do at Survivor Series? How are they going to sell that to us? Oh, they hate each other, blah, blah, blah. I'm never buying that again. I didn't buy it last year, but I'm definitely not buying that this year. It's ridiculous. We've seen it so many times. We've seen Shelton Benjamin come over when he pleases. We've seen Becky. It's just ridiculous. And then, of course, when it comes the month of Survivor Series, they all start wearing Raw clothes and SmackDown jerseys for some reason and beating each other up in gangs backstage. Get off my roster. Like anyone really cares anyway. So that is just throwing that out for me. But yeah, I would have, if anything, if they did have to, I would have liked to have seen it where it's like NXT, where you might have had like the Undisputed Era just show up and cause some havoc, or have like a big match with New Day or something like that, just every now and then, because it gives them a little bit of exposure before they come up proper. But that would have been cool. I don't know why they didn't think of something like that, but that for me, if you could have had like Matt Riddle on Raw one week and then somebody else comes up, like Gargano or something, that would have been pretty cool. But yeah, of course, that's asking too much, I guess, Matt. For those kind of things, but yeah, that would have been a little bit more pleasing. Okay, next question, Leah. I don't want to sound negative and a complete feminist, but the women's tag team titles are a joke in under 4 months, and the only good thing, honestly, in women's wrestling for me is Lacey Evans. What do you think has happened to the women of late, and has WWE dropped the ball? Yeah, it's not, well, the first of all, the belts, I think me and Matt spoke about this before, they're not looking great at the moment. I don't know, they lose. In fact, all champions seem to lose in general at the moment. I thought that doesn't help, but yeah, it's, I mean, Matt, we had these what was it, Elimination Chamber or Fastlane, one of the two. Well, I forgot when they started now. Elimination Chamber. Since then, Matt, I mean, we all wanted them. Are we now thinking in hindsight we maybe didn't?
No, I still want them. I still like the idea, the concept. Mm-hmm. I mean, the women's roster has continued to grow, so for them not to have anything to chase is a bit of a shame. Of course, there's 2 women's titles, but they're on 1 woman right now, so that's another, downside to that. It's like the exposure is still limited, and there's no women's intercontinental kind of level title, which might have been a better idea than a tag team title, in fairness. Yeah. But they didn't go down that route. They went the tag team route, and of course, it was something that we knew Bayley and Sasha were making loads of noises about for a long time. Finally get it, and then, if there was ever 2 people more perfect for that role, then it was them. But WWE just didn't care. They just took that and just went, you know what, we'll just try someone else now and make them job to people for no apparent reason. It just really does, baffle you. Like, why would they go down that route? All this effort to get these titles, and then just not actually have any build with them. If they keep changing hands so often, then it really is just a waste of time.
Yeah, I mean, imagine that. We had, 2 years of Sasha Banks and Bayley together. And all anyone was talking about is, wouldn't it be great if there were tag team titles for them? They'd have something to do. Well, they finally get it. They have it for a month. I mean, come on, guys. I mean, if the first belts, you want to establish those titles with the names. And yes, belts do make wrestlers, but more than anything, when a belt first comes along, the wrestler has to make the belt. And I feel like, you know, and it is nothing against the current champions or anything like that, because, you know, they're in the spot. They can't help winning it as quick as they can. Of course, you're gonna want it, but the fact is, you know, it should have been a much longer process. The story of Sasha Banks and Bayley should have been told properly, and for them to have lost it after a month, it's not great. And not only that, they've hardly had a good follow-up from this anyway. I mean, it's not presented in the best manner that I've seen. So slightly underwhelming there. I don't know where they go next to make that any better. I'm hoping they just keep it consistent for a little bit longer and don't start chucking it around like a hot potato, because then it really will be damaged by the end of it.
That coming.
Yeah. And with regards to you saying about Lacey Evans, yes, I mean, I tell you, I was a bit worried with all these little wall-cat promos she was doing, really odd. But she can definitely land a few, and she's got credibility there, Matt. I mean, I'm sort of becoming a bit more of a fan of her every time I see her at the minute.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've liked her since her NXT days. I thought she always had huge potential. People were comparing her quite unfairly to Charlotte. I think it's just the size of her build and that. And I don't really feel like she definitely has the athleticism to match maybe, but I don't really feel like the characters or anything to parallel each other. So I feel like she will do well. It's just a shame about the time when they have brought her up. They brought her against Becky, and there's 2 matches on that night, and it's kind of like Lacey Evans is kind of the afterthought. Everyone's going to be looking towards a Charlotte match, so it is kind of a little bit of a downside to her, because she's going to be a little bit left in the shadows after that, maybe.
Yeah, sure. Thank you for your point of view there, Leah. And as far as dropping the ball, I think that time will tell. I mean, it's a bit early at the minute. I still think they are backing Becky. They're not doing as good as they can with her. I'll give you that. I don't think that they've done the best. I mean, but it goes back to WrestleMania, that stupid ending. They had them rush it. Can't believe that, of all the crap they had on that night, they couldn't pull something like freaking Dance Break out and make sure the main event gets enough time. That is down to them on that one, because there was a proper story to tell how Becky was supposed to win that. He was supposed to have that moment, and I'll say it. I know it's controversial, but Chris Benoit, WrestleMania 20, you watched that ending. It was done very specifically in a triple threat. How he won it, beating Shawn and Triple H, and that is what they wanted to do in that match. What supposedly was going to happen. It was not even on the right person, and yet the way it happened, Ronda's bloody shoulders were off. It was just out of nowhere. Fans weren't even like, this is the moment. It was awful for a main event. For WrestleMania, that was terrible. And I've got to say, would they have done that with Brock? I'm not sure, to be honest with you. Probably would have booted the door down on Vince or something after. But yeah, not the greatest. So that's left Becky in an awkward position. Secondly, I think the only down thing about not having Ronda around is there's nobody backstage to for Triple H to be like, no, she's got to be in the main event because she's Ronda Rousey. Now she's not there. I do think it gives them a little bit of leeway to go, we don't have to do it as much now, because we're not, we haven't got the big star with us at the minute. So that's the only downside to it. I'm hoping I'm wrong, but I just feel like these little things, like if they just got to the mountain and now they're going to just drop the ball. I certainly don't think we'll see another women's main event next year. Let's put it that way. I'm almost 100% on that. I was 100% about having a women's main event last year when I saw Ronda show up, but now I'm kind of thinking it'll be the opposite to that. What about you, Matt? The ball, I mean, we've still got to see more time, or for you, is it sort of shifted now?
I think there's still a little bit of time left here. of course, it does heavily fall upon Becky's shoulders now, which is a bit unfair that we should all look to her to be the one to carry this. I mean, yeah, she's incredibly talented, but it is a lot of pressure just for one person. And to put 2 belts on her, it's just a strange decision by WWE to go down that route. Hopefully it does continue to move on forwards, but even when now we've been talking about it, women within the WWE are frustrated with the way things are working. Yeah. So if even they can't get behind this movement and find common ground of focus and the actual belief in themselves that they're actually making progress, then I don't know how WWE fixes this issue. It does kind of feel like it will probably drift off a little bit. I feel like we get little throwouts here and there, maybe the first ever women's this or the first ever women's that, but I don't really feel like they, like you said before, they're not going to be main eventing pay-per-views, which they should be. I would like that. I mean, there's 2 women's matches coming up at Money in the Bank, and you'd think one of them should be the main event, given that there's 2 of them. But will they be? Probably not.
Yeah, we'll see. Okay, next question. DX1. AEW, I'm all in. I can't wait for Double or Nothing, and then to weekly TV. The WWE is becoming stale and just isn't working. It's a joke. Roman is doing my head in again. He's the worst draw I've ever seen for WWE, and he doesn't have a belt, but we all know what WWE are going to do here. I'm sick of it. When will WWE learn Roman isn't the man? So, here we go again. I thought it was done of these days. They're slowly creeping back in there. But, who am I to argue? I mean, it's not as if he's worked since he's been back. I know that, even Vince McMahon said the reason the ratings were down is because Roman wasn't around those months. But I'm not really sure I buy that too much, if I'm totally honest with you. I think that's a bit off. In my opinion, with regards to we spoke about the TV and all that lark and Roman, I don't know. They're never going to give up on it. I mean, that's for sure. They would have done it by now, and they've only sort of gone the other way. I think that the problem is for me, beyond anything else, is they don't seem to have their eye on anybody else. Which is worrying for me to come up. I thought maybe Drew was going to be a top guy, but even he, they seem like they're just happy for Roman to quickly go over him again, and he'll move on. It seems like a stepping stone. It shouldn't be. It should be that Drew's on the rise as well, and that's the way we go. But I kind of feel like it isn't, and I don't know. I don't know where the next guy, the big star, is coming from, but it certainly isn't jumping off the page at me, Matt. Anyone for you at the minute is it Roman? Is it always going to be Roman, Matt, as long as he's there?
Yes, it is, I suppose. It's kind of like what we've been saying for years about Brock Lesnar, isn't it? It was like, who's going to get the rub from Brock Lesnar? No one's legitimately pinned him or done this. And then we were saying for years and years and years. And then we just got to the point where it was like, well, you know what? Brock Lesnar is the now for WWE. So. He's there for the long haul and he's going to keep winning. So I think you've got to look at it that way eventually. And Roman is that guy. They penciled him in early on as their next face, and he is a very marketable face. People like to see his, not everyone likes to see his face, but I say they stick it on a board and stuff, and people go like, yeah, that's a wrestler. That looks like a wrestler to me. So that makes sense. But we spoke about it many times about his success as a face and whether it's really where it should be, and I guess the general sort of agreement is that it isn't. But they're just not willing to take any risks. We said it loads of times before, like with The Rock, you make a mega bad guy, and then, eventually people come around and then they love him. But they missed so many opportunities. I mean, I know it's been a very sensitive kind of time with Roman now because he's had his whole cancer thing, and they had come back, and then they thought that would make him adored by the fans, to overcome such adversity. But they could have gone a different direction, I suppose. They could have brought him in as a heel and then had that moment where he comes back to the fans eventually. But it's not like they can say they were being that delicate, because after with the words we saw them put in Dean Ambrose's mouth and stuff, they really didn't have that much sympathy back then.
No, so yeah, that's what makes me, sort of question all that stuff. I just think always Roman at the minute. I mean, why they haven't turned him and given him a go at that, I do not know.